Welcome into this special edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us as we are breaking down the latest happenings on your Seattle Seahawks on this Sunday. Even though the Seahawks aren't playing, sitting at home enjoying some football, still wanted to make sure and bring you guys a video to catch you up to speed on what's going on with your Seattle Seahawks. This is what we call a mini bye week in the NFL. When you play on Thursday night, have a few extra days off, and then you turn around and gear up for your normal week ahead as they play the Atlanta Falcons. And for Seattle, it comes at a pretty decent time. After playing 3 games in 11 days, they certainly could use the rest before they head out to the East Coast to take on the Falcons. I got 5 changes the Seahawks need to make before they take on the Atlanta Falcons. We'll tell you about those coming up in just a moment. If you like me doing these videos from home, even when I'm not in the studio, to try to keep you up to speed what's going on with your Seattle Seahawks, like the video. I certainly would appreciate it. If you want to see more of these videos beyond even just what we do in the studio, for me, when I have some downtime at home to still bring you content, go ahead and like the video. We certainly would appreciate it, and we'll get going here on today's show. So there's 5 things I want to look at today. And first and foremost, I want to start off with the Seahawks run game. And this is a message that is mostly for Ryan Grubb. I want to see the Seahawks run the football more and get this run game going, because it has just been a disaster the last couple of weeks when it comes to running the football for this Seahawks team. And it's really inexcusable, because in reality, as much as we've complained about the offensive line for the Seahawks, and rightfully so, the offensive line actually looked better on Thursday than I think most of us thought it was going to be. Now, is it great? No, far from it. But at least the offensive line has shown some signs of improvement, but they still have a long ways to go. But with that said, I think you look at this offensive line, you say that there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to run the football more than what they've done. As we saw, Kenneth Walker didn't really get much of a chance. He was limited to, about 14, 15 carries this past week. Had 5 carries the week prior. What we're seeing is that the Seahawks tried to run the football early, and then too many times in this Ryan Grubb offense, they get away from the run game when they shouldn't. And the statistics say that they need to run the football more when you look at the fact that as a team, they're averaging 4.6 yards a carry. Kenneth Walker's averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Zach Charbonnet's at about 3.8. Geno Smith's about 7.0. So the statistics say that you should be running the football better. But here is the reality. Here is where the Seahawks stand when it comes to their run game right now. Currently, they're ranked 32nd in the league in run play percentage, 32nd in rushes per game, 27th in rushing yards per game. And then if you want another statistic for why they should run the ball more, well, it's effective when they get in the end zone. They're 6th in the NFL in rushing touchdowns per game at 1.5. So the stats say that, okay, the Seahawks will run the football in the red zone, and they'll run the football to start out things, but then they tend to get away from it too much. This Seahawks team needs to run the football. You have to run the football to be effective in the National Football League. I'm not blaming Kenneth Walker at all. This is mostly on Ryan Grubb. Got to do a better job of staying with the run game, committing to it, and making it work. Let me ask you guys, what do you think of this Seahawks team right now? Are they a playoff team at the moment? What do you think after this 3-game losing streak? Are you still buying this team potentially making the postseason? Type Y for yes, in for no way in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Number 2, this Seahawks team, this is the most important one of them all, is they need to get healthy. When you look at the injury report for Seattle, especially after Thursday, this one is getting lengthy, folks. Let's run through these where things stand right now. Artie Burns, who you just activated from the practice squad this past week in replacing Riq Woolen, who was hurt, is now banged up. Foot injury, he's questionable for this upcoming Sunday's game against Atlanta. We mentioned Riq Woolen with the ankle injury. He did not play against the San Francisco 49ers. Tre Brown is banged up. He's questionable. That's 3 of your top corners all banged up right now, which just isn't good at all. You go to the outside linebacker position. Uchenna Nwosu, of course, is on injured reserve with that thigh injury. Gibson was inactive this past week. Meanwhile, of course, we're waiting on Abe Lucas to get back. Some of the others here, Myles Adams, inactive. Byron Murphy did not play with a hamstring injury. And, of course, George Fant's on IR. Those are just some of them. But you are still missing some key players. And that corner position is going to get very tested. And the Byron Murphy one, last week we heard from Mike McDonald. He said, hey, look, it's a short week. We don't think it's necessarily the right time to bring Byron Murphy back just yet. And I had a lot of you asking, what kind of impact does Byron Murphy bring? How big of an injury is that to not have him there? And I think we saw it firsthand the last couple of weeks, just how much that front seven has struggled, how much they've struggled to get after the quarterback. I know it's only one player in Byron Murphy, but what this team would give to have Byron Murphy right now, my goodness, they could certainly use him, because if we're going to be honest, Jonathan Hankins simply isn't getting the job done. He's not doing what he needs to do at this point in time. So I think that's a very important point for this Seahawks team to make right now, is to get healthy and get these guys back. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sport events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered. And with Game Time, maybe you want to go see a Seahawks game, maybe you want to go see a Kraken game, whatever it may be, Game Time's got tickets to all sorts of sporting events, folks. They got you covered. And they have their seat views. If you check out their seat views, you get the visual, see what that seat is like. They also have their deals that you're not going to want to pass up on. Their super deals are fantastic, folks. They are the best prices you're going to find on any ticket marketplace. And it's real simple with Game Time. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out on Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Fast, easy, and simple, folks, when you're on Game Time. And here at Chat Sports, we're offering you a great deal with Game Time, folks. On your first purchase, you can save $20 off when you use the promo code ChatSports at checkout. That's promo code ChatSports for $20 off. Download the Game Time today. Tell them that Tyler Jones and Chat Sports sent you. You'll be glad you did. Number 3 at our list. So I was listening to Tyler Lockett this week, and I want to read you this quote word for word of what he had to say. He pointed at something happening behind the scenes of what has been going on in the lead up to these games that I thought was fascinating. Lockett said the Seahawks need to focus more on their walkthrough practices, which during these 3 games in 11 days, they've had a lot of. And one of the things he pointed to was details such as lining up correctly, many of their avoidable penalties in games. And to me, that is very concerning. If these guys aren't even taking practice seriously, then what does that say for their play on the field? I'm a firm believer in the mindset that you practice how you play. And if these players aren't going to take practice serious, if they're not going to take walkthrough serious, then no wonder they're going to struggle to win football games. No wonder they're on a 3-game losing streak. And people are going to be quick to point to the coaching staff, and the coaching staff's got to do a better job and all that. But I think it's up to some of these leaders to hold these players accountable. I'm glad that Tyler Lockett spoke up and said something here. We saw how frustrated Geno Smith and DK Metcalf were on the sidelines this past week. I want to see more of that. I want to see these guys say enough is enough. We're not putting up with this. We need to hold you accountable, and we need to play to a higher standard of what we know and love as Seahawks football. So for me, that's very interesting, and it's disheartening to hear that these guys aren't taking practice serious. And I'll take Tyler Lockett's word for it. I have no reason not to believe him that isn't the case at this point in time. Folks, need you to subscribe to Seahawks Today if you haven't already. Here I am at home, just enjoying some Sunday football, and we're still bringing you content on the channel. If you love the Seattle Seahawks, this is the channel for you. We're closing in on 58,000 subscribers, but we need your help for daily Seahawks content. watch parties every game day, including next Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons, live shows like we do on Wednesdays, daily news and rumors. It's all right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. Couple more for you of what I want to see from the Seahawks clean up during the mini-bye. Clean up the little stuff. Currently, right now, when you look at the statistics, I know that when you watch this Seahawks team, you're saying to yourself, wow, there's a lot of mistakes this team is making. And then you take it a step further, see what the statistics say. They're 29th in turnover margin, 25th in penalties. And that just shouldn't be the case. They have work to do. They need to clean up those things because here's the deal. We talked about this past week that when you went up against San Francisco. The Seahawks weren't going to win based on their talent. They weren't the more talented team than San Francisco. They were going to need to outsmart and out-scheme the Niners to win that game. But they held themselves back with some self-inflicted wounds, some of their own mistakes in that football game. And you go forward and you look at the schedule, playing good teams like Atlanta and some of these others here, you can't afford to step in your own way. You got to do a better job taking care of the football, and you got to avoid some of these penalties. And as Tyler Lockett mentions, the pre-snap stuff, that's got to come to an end. You got to do a better job of that right there. Number 5, I want the offensive line to continue to show growth, to take steps in the right direction. But one thing we need to figure out is this right guard spot. Anthony Bradford has started every game so far this season. We've seen more Christian Haynes as of late. Anthony Bradford was horrible against the San Francisco 49ers. Christian Haynes is a rookie. He's still going along. He's still trying to figure some things out. Personally, I would like to see Ryan Grubb and Scott Huff make a change and give Christian Haynes first-team reps and see what he does if he's up for the challenge. Because at this point, it can't get any worse than what we've seen from Anthony Bradford. I want to see Christian Haynes get his chance, and maybe with this mini-bye week, he gets the chance to prove himself and see if he can earn that job. Do you believe Mike Macdonald will turn things around? Will the 3-game skid end? Will this team get back on track? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed today's show, you like these at-home videos, do us a favor, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.